So what has been my experience with the disposable duodenoscope? So different steps. So I was first exposed to the first prototype in 2017. If I well remember, was DDW 2017. A couple of Boston guys came to me saying, "Oh, we have a big secret that we want to share with you." I said, "Oh, what is going on? Something new, something very good." Indeed, the secret was a new scope. So I was shocked at my first glance because I want to tell you, at that time I was looking to Boston like a device company, not just a scope company. So I said, "Oh, that's surely a big innovation." And they showed again 1 year later in 2018 a second prototype. At that point, I thought this is a very serious issue. They're working very seriously. And at the time, I was discussing with the guy who was leading the team of the technician involved in that. I saw there was massive human effort, so many people working to this project, trying to replicate at the disposable level the same quality of the scope that we have with the reusable scope. So also thanks to Boston, I had the privilege to test this kind of scope doing ERCP in a live. PICS was end of 2019, if I'm not wrong, in Boston. And I want to thank Salim because he took care of me. He was extremely nice in helping me doing this case. So I must tell you the story. That day, different experts, they did ERCP. I arrived as I was the last one. They gave me the most terrible pig with the most terrible duodenum, very difficult to cannulate. By the end, we were very happy because despite it was difficult anatomical situation, we were able to do cannulation, sphincterotomy, and stent placement. So I did my first EXALT patients in the midst of the storm of the COVID lockdown. I insisted with my hospital management to buy at that point the EXALT because I wanted to be ready to scope COVID patients requiring ERCP using single use scope because there were no data about the relationship between COVID infection and the duodenoscope. So I did my first patients, I think it was end of March, and I did my first EXALT plus spyglass in April 2020. So up to now, we have done about 10 cases. You see, if you look to indication that we have used, so for which we have used the EXALT D, we have a different kind of situation. We have used it for removing stone, for plastic stent, metal stent, for spyglass. We have done now 3 cases of spyglass, and the last one was ERC piston. So let me show a couple of videos. So this is the first time we used it. Everybody was feeling very, I would say, excited to open this package. Nobody knew exactly because, you know, we had seen the scope and the VGW, but never we got the real scope to be used in our patients, disposable bubbles. The bottom, yeah. So this is Andrea Anderloni and Alessandro Fugazza. They are super expert in ERCP. They love to do this. So I said, this is your privilege. You look, Andrea, how he's showing everything. Let me move back. Okay. So, you know, it's like watching a newborn. So, very easy to also fit with the device for short wire RX system. And now let me show here. Okay, and this is just how does it work. It's very simple. It's just a plug-in. If you are familiar with the spyglass, you see we have a spyglass and EXALT in the same part. You just plug in, it's done, nothing else. Okay? Of course, you need to connect water, suction. Okay, we're ready. And this is our first case. Let me show how was the first case. It was a pancreatic cancer patient. We tried to cannulate using the standard technique. This is the quality of the picture, which is quite good. We were not able to get deep biliary cannulation, so we left the guide wire into the pancreatic duct. So we adopted a double guide wire technique for biliary cannulation. And you see, mostly we were able to replicate the same kind of small movements that we normally do to get bile duct deeply. And you can see what has been the results. So successful biliary cannulation, cholangiogram showing the tight strictures at the level of pancreas and just placing of metal stent. So we first place a pancreatic stent because we got the pancreatic wire, and afterwards we place a metal stent for palliation of these tight stricture at the distal common bile duct. So overall, the functionality looks quite nice. Of course, it's not exactly like using a standard stent, a standard scope, a reusable scope. It's a different way. So there is different degree of freedom with the movements, but in general, the feeling is quite similar. And this is, I think it is the first case that we have done with the spyglass. So this is our first EXALT plus spyglass. Was indeterminate stricture of the bile duct. Overall, again, the functionality was quite good, not the same, but we were able to get stable position and to do the procedure. You see now the stricture that we biopsied to make sure that we could confirm benign or malignant histology, and in general, the we're able to get the procedure done. The tactile feeling is not that bad. In the beginning, it looks like you have a little bit lighter scope, so it's not the same weight of the reusable scope, and this initially gives you a sort of uncomfortable feeling because it's completely different. But in general, after you get started, you can easily work on that. I don't see any big problems in bending the scope or looking the scope, calling the scope into the gastric fundus. And with regard to the elevator, I would say that's a part that makes me extremely confident and happy. So I don't see big difference in terms of elevator and elevator strength in pushing devices. Also, when we have user for placing metal stent in difficult situation, plastic stent for tight strictures, I couldn't feel too much difference.